My mother slumped over and lay flat on the floor. Pain etched across her face. Her face was contorted and disfigured as furrows creased her forehead, and the creases around her eyes narrowed her gaze. My mother and I sat in silence for an eternal 3 minutes. Jay, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Jay, did you hear me? Jay, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Jay, did you hear me? Now it was my turn to slump. I had been standing against the wall looking down at the crumpled, rumbled heap that was my mother. Tears had stained her face. Her eyes were bloodshot, her pupils were dilated, and she was looking in my direction, but she was not looking at me. My mother had a vacant, empty, glassy stare. Her eyes pole vaulted over me, and she cleared the bar. I waited because I did not know what to do next. More silence. I swallowed hard, but there was no saliva. I felt nauseated and faint. My angle of vision narrowed from encompassing the entire hallway. Now my vision devolved from a panorama to a smoggy, singular dark tunnel that focused for some strange reason on my mother's hands. My mother's hands were clutching her stomach just below her navel. Jay, your father is gone. I was immediately confused. I saw my father's moped parked in the usual spot outside. His leather briefcase was on the bed. Mom, what do you mean Daddy's gone? Gone where? To the store? No, Jay, your daddy is gone. I became silent, painfully silent. I could notice the pounding in my ears as my heartbeat crossed over to more than 120 beats per minute. I recognized this pattern because only one day earlier, I was involved in a fight with 2 boys at school, and I had the same feelings. Impending doom. An envelope of darkness closed around me, narrowing my vision as those 2 boys marched towards me, screaming insults. Those feelings 24 hours ago told me I was about to be attacked, and they were correct. But why do I have these same feelings now? My 13-year-old self was perplexed. I am home, standing in the hallway of my home, talking to my mother. What threat, what malice, what danger lurks in my home? Sensing my dis-ease, my mother continued, "Your father is gone and he's never coming back," she said as she sat up. A simple, declarative assertion. I knew what those words meant. English language, after all, was and remains my favorite subject. Nevertheless, I still could not digest their import. My mother dropped the fat man over my Hiroshima. My mother closed her eyes. When I was pregnant with you, your father told me, "Get rid of him. I don't want any more children. And Jay, I got on a bus. I drove to the West End, climbed to the top of an 18-foot wall, and I jumped. Her words stung. For 13-year-old John Anthony, I saw the sun begin to dim, and I felt that frigid winter wind blow cold. I was 13 years old, and I learned that my presence in my mother's body did not bring her joy or happiness. In fact, my life caused a rift in their 2-year-old marriage. I, John Anthony, did that. My brain broke. My feelings fractured. My emotions were eviscerated. The glitter faded. The glue became unstuck. When the glitter faded, when the glue became unstuck, all that was left was rubble. I became an untethered soul. I became homeless. I was an orphan. What remained? You see, hope, unborn, had died. Here is a telegram, a text message, a tweet from my psyche. My life was a lie. My fortress was festooned in Teflon. I had to say goodbye to the yellow brick road. No, that hope, unborn, had died. Now that I know that my father did not want me and that my own mother tried to kill me, my 13-year-old brain broke permanently. My 13-year-old brain broke. My feelings fractured. My emotions were eviscerated permanently. Hope, unborn, had died. And I died. And I have never recovered. Since all hope was lost, what remained? I had to say goodbye to the yellow brick road. I learned a lesson that has stood with me ever since. And when I said goodbye to the yellow brick road, I realized that hope, happy endings, beneficial outcomes, love, family, sanctuary, and safety were for other people, but not for me. My father did not want me, and my mother tried to kill me. Therefore, since all hope was lost, I learned there was more for me to gain. I was now free, untethered, unmoored, perpetually insecure. I felt the earth tremble under my feet. Checkmate. I was trapped. I was vulnerable. I was helpless. And there was no way to avoid the threat. Checkmate. It was, after all, bad etiquette to continue to play the chess game of life, because for me, hope unborn had died. I could not continue my own existence because it was now hopeless. I died that day at age 13, and I have never, ever recovered. But since I jettisoned the psychedelic carousel, that beautiful musical swirl with its flashing lights and lovely music, I realized that I had been given a gift that day. Because now that I discovered that my future lay beyond the yellow brick road, and now that I know that there is no heaven, no home, no justice, no happy endings, no God, and no forgiveness. And that realization at 13 years old led me back to myself. And I made myself a pledge at 13 years old. Don't play that hope song for me. From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights, or the lies, or the litanies of luscious, lust-filled happy endings tied together with a red bow. From now on, I will not seek answers or solutions. I would not wait till a better tomorrow or work towards some better world in the future. Because it always starts tonight. It's always dark. It's always hopeless and failed and futile. It is there where I, John Anthony, encounter my Genesis. Tonight, checkmate. COVID-19, checkmate. This is the soundtrack, the song that animates my distorted soul. I am the abortion that lived. I emerged homeless, unloved, an orphan spawned from parental hate and antipathy. I am the feticide that is now a funnel of life. That hated 13-year-old boy is today a 50-year-old man. While there is a certain untrammeled wispiness that lives in me, I say goodbye to the yellow brick road. God, Jesus, Allah, Krishna, Rama, Shiva, fuck you. You can't plant me in your penthouse, your paradise, or your heaven. Because I, John Anthony, I'm going back to my plow. The fat man my mother detonated from her B-59 Super Fortress bomber spewed a vast, fetid, radioactive stink bomb. And while I was trapped in that catastrophe, I had a funeral for all my divine friends. And I burned my New Testament and my Torah scroll, my Quran and all my Rig Vedas, and I incinerated my Bhagavad Gita, because there is no song of the Lord. Instead, I, John Anthony, am a howling old owl in the middle woods, hunting that horny-backed toad. And I finally decided that my future can only have a future because my path lies beyond the yellow brick road. Therefore, I have made a vow that my life matters to me. I am valuable because my worth, my appraisal rests in me. I am sacred. I am special to me. And that, and my one life, is enough. This promise in me starts like an anthem in my own heart. From now on, because my future lies beyond the yellow brick road. Hope, go fuck yourself. Hope, you're dead to me. I have chosen to live. Thank you.
Yay.